And hello, YouTube world. Welcome back to another episode of Holland Woodworks. Today we are making a set of 3 stackable boxes. This is the first time I've ever attempted this project. Very excited to see how it turns out. We're going to start off here just by roughing down these blanks that I have. I've got actually 4 of these blanks, 2 ambrosia maple, 2 black walnut. At this stage, I am not certain if I'm going to have 3 boxes or 4. By the end of it, you see that we decide 3 is always best. The reason why I went with 3, they say in design, odd numbers are always better. So when I had all 4 roughed out and set in there and stacked up, and then I moved one away and I went to 3, I realized that is the case. 3 definitely looks better than 4. Little tidbit for you if you're ever designing anything. Now once I get all the blanks round, I'm going to start shaping the boxes. Each box I'm going to turn into essentially one big bead. Now you're going to see some of the turning, you're going to not see some of the turning. Since I'm doing 3, I actually did 4 boxes throughout this. It would be repetitive to see everything. So I'm just going to show you the highlights as we go to keep this video short and sweet and worth your time to watch to the end. One thing to keep in mind if you're going to attempt this project is the size of the tenon that you're making here is very crucial. Number 1, you want to make sure it fits your chuck so that way you're not leaving any marks when you turn it around to shape the other side. But number 2, if you get them exact, which is very difficult to do, but if you get them exact, you can then mix and match which box goes where. It doesn't have to be a set box number 1, box number 2, box number 3 in your stack. I could have done a little bit better job of this. They were darn close, but they weren't perfect. So I can't really mix and match this set of boxes, but that works for this particular set of boxes anyway, since it's walnut, ambrosia maple, walnut. It's always going to be in that orientation. So you can see in this stage of the video, essentially all I'm doing is making a foot on one side, setting that tenon, shaping the side that I have access to up to the center. Once I complete that, I will then reverse each blank, shape the other side back up to the center to make my one bead. Obviously, we're going to be doing some sanding and some finishing at that point, and then we're going to pause, reassess, see where we're at, and go from there. Okay, so now we know what our stack's going to look like. Now we need to figure out how we're going to make it work. Now we're going to start the finishing process on each one of these individual boxes, starting off with some shear scraping here, just to ensure that we're removing any tear out that may possibly be there, getting each blank ready for a sanding and a finish, and then we'll come back and we'll start making them stackable. For the finish for this product, I wanted it to come out very shiny, very glossy in the end. So I decided to go with the Mylan's Cellulose Sanding Sealer. Just applying that, making sure that we get a nice, smooth, even coat of that. If it doesn't come out perfectly smooth, which it rarely does, we're going to then turn around and use the Yorkshire Superfine Sanding Paste. After that, after we have that sub finish perfectly smooth, we're going to go back with the Mylan's High Gloss Friction Polish to give it that really high sheen reflectiveness. And as you can briefly see here, we're just going to repeat that same process for all 4 of our blanks. I'll let you watch a short bit of it and I'll bring you back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, so we'll save number 1 for last because we might do something different with that one. So now, let's load up number 4 here. So now we're going to go in. This is our number 4 blank. So this is the blank that's going to go on the bottom of the stack. And what we're doing is we're just setting the recess that the tenon of number 3 would fit into nicely, like you're making a lid for it. Oh boy. What a lucky shot. I mean, that's freaking perfect. Okay, well then. And now we move on to hollowing out the inside of the box. This step is just like you would do for any other box or bowl. Essentially, all you want to do is make sure that you're not touching the recess that you've already set. We don't want that to get any bigger or change shape at all since it fits perfect already. At this point in the video, I've fast forwarded you on. After I've made all 3 of the boxes, I'm now turning the 4th blank into just a lid for the top black walnut box. I originally attempted to make the lid out of another piece of black walnut that I had. However, those 2 pieces of wood did not match up very well, and it just looked awkward to have those 2 next to each other. So I opted for this piece of ambrosia maple, get a nice contrast, and I already had it ready to go essentially with a tenon because I made this 4th blank ahead of time anyway. So essentially all I'm doing is parting off about 1/4 of an inch of the top of this blank. Once I get rid of that, I'll be able to shape it, get it ready, turn it into a lid, and we'll be all done. Oh, dumbass. Oh, that would have pissed me off right there. Dumbass move like that. So anyway, all I'm going to do here is put a really nice shallow dome on the top of this. I want it to be essentially flat, but just with a little bit of shape. Get it sanded and polished to perfection, and then we'll be able to wrap this project up and show you the finished pieces. And here's that finished product shining and looking pretty. I was really happy with this one since I started out not knowing what I was going to make, kind of shooting from the hip, pleasantly surprised with the end outcome here. Thanks very much for hanging out in the shop with me today. If you've made it this far and you enjoyed this video, I strongly suggest you click on this video. This is a fun storytelling video where I make a keepsake for a good friend. Thanks again.